What do you do if you're feeling lonely? This is a tough thing to face sometimes, and particularly with COVID, I know many of us felt that, and I did too. So stick around at the end and find out what I did to get through my feelings of loneliness during the great isolation of COVID that we all experienced. Hopefully not everyone, but I know I did. So first of all, if you're feeling lonely, this is the state you're in. You've got to release your beliefs around what's making you feel lonely. Typically what it is we are feeling unseen, unheard, misunderstood. This is what makes us feel so alone. We can be surrounded by people that love us, want to help us, but if we feel unseen, misunderstood, unheard, that oppressive sense of loneliness can be overwhelming. We can wonder, is this okay to do, or am I the only one that feels this way? It is really something that isolates us from those around us, from reaching us and allowing us to feel accepted and seen. And there's a number of reasons why we may feel that way, but releasing our beliefs that that is actually true, that you are incapable of being seen, that you are incapable of being heard or understood, that is a foundational thing that you must let go of. There is somebody for you, I promise, because there are murderers on prison row that are writing to people that love them and sustain them and support them that have never met them. This happens all the time, because when you're a prisoner for murder on prison row, people know what you've done. They know that you have committed these atrocities, and they will still accept you. Even in that space, you can find people that will be with you. So no one needs to be alone. What we need to do is show up. So find activities if you're in a space where you're lonely and you're feeling those beliefs. Try to let them go and recognize, I am not alone. I am even joined in my loneliness by others who feel the same, at the very minimum. Find activities that you can do with others, or activities that create movement, because loneliness is something that when you feel causes you to isolate more, to withdraw more, because you already feel that way. And you don't want to enter into a space where you can experience more isolation in front of others. Open up to those you can trust. When you have activities, you've changed your space and you're still struggling, call someone that you trust, that you know loves you. Hopefully you have people like that in your life. If you don't, begin to seek them out. Find people that you can rely on to boost you in that moment when you're the most weak. And this will help you to recognize, oh, I'm not alone. Reach out. Allow someone to support you and help you. This will inform you that there are people out there dying to help you and make you feel better. You are not alone. Prioritize self-care. In a space of loneliness, as we retreat, we can let all kinds of self-care things go. You then gain weight, which then impacts your sense of who you are even more. Or you may quit, taking care of bathing, and so people don't want to be around you because you smell. All these things that can happen, or you just aren't getting stuff done that you want, and so your sense of self and who you are diminishes. Prioritize self-care so that you can get things done, so that you can stay in a place where you're safe and happy. I did some dailies that I put in place when I was struggling with loneliness during the beginning of COVID. And then do things that help you find meaning in your life. What are the things that when you do inspire you and make you feel good about yourself? It doesn't matter what that is. It could be writing. It could be music. It could be academic. It could be just playing around with friends. Whatever that may be, find that. Do it to lift your sense of meaning and productivity, so that as you engage in that activity you love, you're seen by people who also enjoy it and affirm that what you're doing is of value. So my key to all this and staying connected and avoiding loneliness is to be active in a number of ways. And I set up a number of dailies. I went through COVID. My divorce started right before the whole isolation, and I had been moved out of my place, and I was living in probably one of the worst places I've ever lived in my life. It was a little hovel in a rough part of town. in Salt Lake.
It's not really that rough. It's Salt Lake, right? But
Relative to this area, rough part of town. And it was full of rats. It was filthy. My place was disgusting. I tried cleaning it. It was a rough representation of what I had lived in, where I had a home that was beautiful and remodeled and great, and now I'm living in this state. Just everything about it was hard. And then the fact on top of it all that I couldn't meet or see anyone because I was living in a state where, everyone was in the state of COVID, living in a state where if I wasn't living with you at the first of isolation, I didn't get to interact with you. So I felt completely isolated, alone and unseen. And it was devastating. To be doing that while emotionally watching my marriage dissolve, to be so completely isolated, I was like, what do I do? And I began to do these very things that I am telling you to do. This loneliness was a result of me not being worth accepting and supporting and being kind to, because the people that I loved had rejected me, and then the other ones that I knew couldn't even be around me. It was a difficult thing to let go of. And then I put in a list of activities to get me moving. I ran every day outside. I wrote every day. I meditated every day. And I read something uplifting every day. And in doing those things and acting on it and building towards it, I began to find that I was connected to people that I met outside on my run that would talk to me. I would hang out with the homeless. I would buy them food every day and tell them to watch my car at night so nobody would break into it because I was in a rough area. Nobody ever broke into my car. All these little connections that got me moving around these activities helped me to engage, helped me have something to even talk about. If I got on a Zoom call with my family, what did you do today? Oh, I went for a run up in the canyon. Just helped myself to feel more human in a place that made me feel completely dehumanized. In fact, I got so in trouble at one point. There was some information that I was dealing with that just staggered me to my core. And I was struggling. I think it was probably what I think is my first true kind of emotional breakdown, meltdown. I was just like on my run trying to deal with the day and all this information, and I felt so completely unseen and unheard and misunderstood by people that I thought loved me that I doubted everything about myself. I doubted my capacity to be able to see reality. I felt so utterly alone. And I was weeping as I was trying to run. I couldn't do it. Couldn't run. I was walking and just weeping. And I have a sister that lives nearby, and I called my sister. And I just said, hey, I'm struggling. I don't know what to do. I just feel like completely lost. And she opened up her heart to me and her home. They were on vacation, and against the rules, they let me come and stay with them for a couple days, where I was able to connect with people that loved me and saw me and supported me in the face of all that I was facing alone. And it totally changed my affect. It transformed that whole journey, and that became kind of the bottom day for me. And everything got better from that point, because I was doing things that I felt brought meaning to my life. I was prioritizing my self-care. I was being active and reaching out to people that could sustain and support me. And I was recognizing that, yes, I feel lonely, but this is not a real representation of who and what I am. And that process of doing that pulled me out of a dark space that many of us went through, and we will face dark spaces again. So if you're feeling lonely, you want to know how to get out of it, follow these steps. They'll help you. I'm James. Thanks for watching.